Love is pure. Love is kind. Love is... Hey bloomers, I am Danielle Freckleton. Welcome back to another episode of Blooming by Grace, a space where we use grace to chart our journey. We all have encountered challenges, fears, failures. But no matter what it is, this is a place, the only space where we will bloom. And not just bloom, but bloom by grace. So, I have my paper here. My paper. How to identify a toxic relationship. Listen, nowadays I'm convinced that there are lots of people that they are loving, but they are loving from a place that does not express love by any means. And as we know, God is love. Love is pure. Love is kind. Love is, I'll list all of them. What love is, I'll find it from the scriptures and list it. All that love is. But we put love in a different category. It's like we try to love in and of ourselves. Where if we don't have God in us, or if we don't allow God to come in us and show us how to love, truth and in fact, we cannot love. And that's the reason why we have these brokenness, broken relationships, broken trust, toxicity, and wanting to heal from things. You know, hurt people hurt people. Hurt people hurt people. What really defines what's happening now is that hurt people are hurting people. And that's why it's very important for us to heal. I did a video previously on how to get over a breakup. Breakup doesn't necessarily mean just a ex, or it's also crush or whatever, just how to get over, because sometimes we have to heal ourselves, or not just sometimes, but we literally have to heal ourselves before giving ourselves to somebody else. Because if we don't heal and if we don't understand who we are as individuals, then we will lose our value, especially in the eyes of someone else. And if we don't know our value, or we give somebody the opportunity to value us, then we might be devalued. So who are you? What do you want? What are you about? Why are you here? Are some questions that we have to ask ourselves. But let's get to the point. First thing, this could have been another number. But listen, you see, liar man, a liar woman, if you like, my grandmother would have said, if you, not just my grandmother, but people would have normally said this: if you lie, you a thief. Dishonesty is a big red flag. Listen, dishonest people, dishonesty is a big sign of toxicity. Why would you have to lie? Why do you have to lie? Why do you keep lying? No man, you have some people will tell lie like it just natural for them to lie. For no reason they just be lying. And I'm like, why are you lying though? Like there's no reason. Listen, I've met people in the past that them lie so till if they would have said the sky blue, even though I know the sky is blue, listen, I would have go outside and check for myself to how them lie. You have people, well, listen, lying, me hate liars. Listen, because it's a lying, especially when there's no need to lie. And you have some people in relationships just lying for no reason. And that whatever takes away from you, whatever drains you, it makes no sense. And dishonesty is one thing that can drain you right down to nothing. So dishonesty is a big sign of toxicity, especially if this person repeatedly lies for no reason. Another one is lack of support. No man is an island. No man stands alone. So if I'm supporting you and you are not you are not supporting me, and vice versa, or if whatever way you want to put it, if you are not getting that support that you need, and then that this is not just a situational thing or just a one-time, two-time thing, but this person constantly, it's like they're pulling from you, and you are blessed daddy, see? Even the thing on the wall responds. That we're living in a broken world. But listen, like if Nobody can give, nobody can pour from an empty cup. You can't pour from an empty cup. I can't pour from an empty cup. So if you're not, if the if the relationship is not reciprocal, if there's not a me getting and you getting, it really makes no sense, because after a while you will not have anything to give. So even that very person will not be able to benefit. So that's another sign of toxicity. Another sign is negative communication patterns. And listen, as I've said in the previous video about breakups, this is also important. It not just has to do with exes. It also has to do with friendships. Because listen, some of those friends be not so nice. You have people like, what do they communicate? Do they communicate certain things as a joke, especially as it relates to in front of people? How do they want you to look in front of other people? What do they say to you in the midst of other people? How do they speak to you behind other people? You know, is there a competition type thing? You know, them friend they will just love compete even when there's no need to. Yeah, or what are they communicating to you verbally and non-verbally, emotionally, physically? What are they saying? Study the patterns. These are also things that you can use to say, is this really safe? Is this where I'm supposed to be? Is this listen, man, we have to get to a place, especially in this era, where we know what no longer serves us. And if it's no longer serving you, it makes no sense to sit at that table, because you'll be drained. And if you can't give, and if they can't give, and if there's not this bond, it makes no sense. You're literally wasting your time. I basically touched a little bit on that earlier, but another one is envy or jealousy. You have a lot of people who get so envious of other people, and I get a time now to share this. What we have to understand as a people is this: we are all on different journeys. We all have different purposes. So every day, if you get up and you have the spirit of jealousy, you have the spirit of covetousness. The Bible says, do not covet. And if you have that spirit walking around with, you have to go ask God to deliver you. Because what we have to understand, I mean, I know that we're living in a sinful world and this does happen, but you have to go to God in prayer with that. Because this is what we have to understand. We are on a journey. Each person journey is different. We all will reach our different destinations at different points in time, and as a result of that, we all will experience differences. So you'll have some that lack, some that will have more than the other. That will always be with us in this earth. So what we have to understand is, what is your purpose, and focus on that. Because if we keep on focusing on everybody else's business and what everybody else is happening for everybody else, and gain this level of jealousy, it becomes toxic. And if you are like me, I can't manage. You see anything toxic, I can't. Nothing, me not trade nothing for my peace of mind, and that's literally just me. So if you're in a relationship and it heavy, because jealousy and envy and all those things, it brings a level of heaviness. So if it's heavy, run. I mean, needless to say that there is a time when jealousy can be safe. But in this situation, I'm literally talking about those jealousy that is extreme. Because jealousy, a little bit of jealousy is necessary as it relates to relationships, but not one that will cause pain or lack of communication or anything like that later in the future. So yes, jealousy is a little bit necessary, but it can be overdone, and in most cases it is generally overdone. So we are trying to avoid that amount of jealousy. Another one, controlling behaviors. You have some people who really want to control people, and I'm like, this is not a game, people. Like, if you feel controlled in one way or the other, then that's a sign. And especially if this person repeatedly tries to get the upper hand. I mean, it's not a competition, and if it's a relationship, if it's a healthy relationship, we have to come to the understanding that, look, it might not always go your way, or it might not even ever go your way. You understand? Because sometimes everybody else has different opinions, and somebody else's opinion might be better than yours. And I mean, of course, it's mutual. So today you might have it right, tomorrow you might not have it right. It's not for you, it's not a control type thing. And sometimes neither of us would be right. We just have to come to an agreement as to what really will help us to move forward. But if you're in a position where it's like you don't have a voice, or you are scared to even speak, or whatever the case is, that probably is a sign that your relationship, Missy or Sir, is too toxic. Whew. And these two, I've probably touched a little bit on them earlier, so I'll just put them in together. Two patterns of disrespect and ignoring needs. I've probably touched a little bit on them earlier, but just to wrap it up, listen, these things are very important. If how do they speak to you in front of others? How do they speak to you behind each other? What do you need? Do they realize that you need this thing? How do they operate when you communicate your needs to them? These are some things that, as I've said, if it's no longer serving you, it makes no sense you stay, because toxicity drains you as a person. And if you are always giving and there's nothing to receive, then it don't make no sense. Like that, the relationship they only serve one person, and if it's only serving one person, then it makes sense for that one person to just stay by themselves. And the level of strain that it puts on the mentality, the level of strain that all these things put on you as a person, would you think about it? Get yourself in a place, think about the disadvantages and think about the advantages. Which one far outweighs the other? Can you give this much and not receive? It's all about you. So you have to protect your mentality. You have to protect who you are at the end of the day, because you only have you. God give you. You don't have nobody else. So you have to assess those things, assess your relationships, and see how best you can say, all right, is this a red flag? Is this not a red flag? And see how toxic that thing might be. And run. But no matter how far you go, no matter how far you run into the arms of God, because you, yes, you are not too dirty for God to cleanse. You are not too broken for God to mend. You are not too far for God to reach, or too guilty to fall at his feet. Remember, you are the future. You control you. So give it all to God. And remember that you are perfectly imperfect, because we are all fearfully and wonderfully made. See you next time.